A woman's true power is in her femininity. No, don't burn me at the stake just yet, ladies. Seriously. And I'll get into it, okay? Because, we have been told for a very long time, and I grew up in the 90s. I was a 90s kid. I was all through the girl power era where we were taught that we could do things just as good as a man and we deserved equal rights. And I still totally believe that. But hear me out before you think that I'm going to take us back to the trad wife days, because I am definitely not a trad wife. I, however, am domestic in a lot of ways. I love my children. I love to go and get my nails done. I just recently went to the salon and I spoiled myself. I got a mani-pedi. I have also really embraced my feminine. And I'm also a badass who wrote a book, and I want to run a business and have an empire, and I'm a speaker, and I can do all of the things that it takes to really have success. I've also noticed that men, real men, are providers. They're the ones that step up. They're the ones that protect. They're the ones that lead and the ones that guide. However, for a very long time, we've had a very skewed view of men and women. And women have been taught we can be strong, but we've also been taught that our femininity makes us weak. So I'm going to give 2 examples today in this talk based on what I saw earlier. I was scrolling on Instagram, and I saw a reel, and they had the scene from Legally Blonde. I love that movie. I love Elle Woods. I love how she shows up to the law school and she's pink and everybody else is bland. And they made fun of her and they underestimated her because why? Because she was pretty, because she happened to do her nails. She went to the salon. She had her hair all nice. She was all dressed up. And they made fun of her. And it brought back to mind when I was a little girl. And everybody else was in jeans and a t-shirt. It was the 90s. It was the grunge era. And here I was in my skirts and in my little headbands and sparkly things. And people would always make fun of me for it. I'd dress up like the princess and they would make fun of me for it. After all, a strong, independent woman cannot possibly be a princess. Except for Buffy. Buffy could get away with it. She also had to act really ditzy and dumb, but she was also strong. So there were these 2 archetypes. And the thing is that Buffy never had a happy ending. The women in Desperate Housewives were ridiculed. And Elle Woods was definitely ridiculed. Now, I'm not going to get into Buffy, but I am going to get into Elle Woods, and I'm going to get into Desperate Housewives. Because there's one character in Desperate Housewives that, to the outside world, she's a Republican, and she wears the pearls, and she is a stay-at-home mother. She knows her place, right? And isn't that basically the trad wife idea, is that you got to know your place and you got to be the Stepford wife in order to be happy? And it seemed like Bree was happy in that role, right? But what happens to her is similar to what happens to Elle Woods, is that the men that they were propping up in the world would ridicule them. In the case of Bree Vandekamp, it was Rex. So I'm going into spoilers here, but these shows are also old. They're on Amazon Prime. They're on Disney Plus. Like, you can watch these. You can go get the DVDs if you really want. But what happens in the course of Bree's life? Bree got married to a doctor, Rex Vandekamp. She had gone to college basically to find a husband. She was smart in her own right, but you never really would have known that from how she was. She'd present herself as the perfect wife and mother. She did her own upholstery. She did her own clothing. Like, she'd sew everything. She'd cook these elaborate meals, and she had the pearls, and she had the perfect hair. And she was the one that was the woman standing behind the man. And what happens is Rex Van de Kamp goes and repays all of this by saying he wants a divorce. That she's this plastic perfect housewife, and he wants the woman that burned the toast, and he doesn't like her being the perfect wife and mother. He doesn't like it. He's bored. So what does he do? He has an affair. And then there's nothing wrong with Bree. And if you go through the series, there's a point where when Rex was alive, Bree had decided that she wanted to do more in her life than just be a stay-at-home mother. Like she wanted to write a book. So she had gathered up all her favorite recipes, and she had decided, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do this amazing thing. I'm going to help other women. And it's not just going to be a recipe book, but it's also going to be like a life manual for women to be more domestic and to really take care of their homes. She was really proud of this. And Rex laughed at her, made fun of her, and told her that was ridiculous and she should just go back to making dinner for him. And it's like, well, where's dinner? And she's like, well, I got all excited about this book that I'm working on. And he's like, that's a waste of your time. Go back to something that's important. And how many women, especially really intelligent women, have been told that their value is in the home and they shouldn't do anything else? And I know I'm kind of contradicting myself here because I said that our power is in our feminine, but here's the thing. As the series progresses, Rex dies, and Bree received that book back. Like she had thrown it out, but her handyman had saved it for her. There was this whole episode about Eli, who was the handyman who kind of helped every single one of them. Like he was this understated character, and he was just in this one episode. But he had saved this book for Bree, and he's like, now that Rex is gone, here's something. And maybe it's not time yet, but eventually it will be. So over the course of this point, Bree is a widow, and she meets another woman, Catherine Mayfair, and they form a friendship. But not only do they form a friendship, but eventually they form a business. Because Bree's second husband, Orson, who valued her domesticity, he comes into the picture, and she thinks he's absolutely perfect for the time of her life. But he has his shadows as well, and he ends up going to jail. He goes to prison for a few years. And in that time, Bree kind of slides back, and she's in a depression because she's like, all I know how to do is be a wife and mother, and my children are grown, and my daughter has taken her son, so I don't even have my grandson to take care of, and I'm nothing without that. And Catherine basically wakes her up and says, bull, like, we're going into business together. And so they go into business together, and what happens over the course of those 5 years is suddenly Bree Van de Kamp has a line of books, and like she is just like the Martha Stewart of Desperate Housewives. She's amazing. And her son is working with her, and she's like in her power. But Orson comes back and he doesn't like it. Much like when Elle Woods from Legally Blonde went off and tried to get Warner back. Ugh, Warner. And she's like, well, I'm going to get into the same school that he got into. I'm going to go to Harvard because I need to show him that I'm not just a pretty face. I can be smart too. If he wants a smart girl, well, I can be that. I know how to do that. And maybe I will be good enough for him. So same thing. Elle steps into her power and Warner tears her down. The same thing happens with Bree. Orson comes back from prison, and he sees that Bree doesn't actually need him, and he doesn't like it. So he tries to get her to give up her company, just like Warner told Elle to give it up on trying to be successful. It's like, yeah, you got into the law school, but really going for this case, you really think that you can go and be one of these interns? I don't think so. Now you're reaching too high. And Elle had said, I'm never going to be good enough for you, am I? And at that point, she's like, you know what? I'll show you what I can do. Well, Bree was the same way. Orson said to her that she was spending too much time on her company and that she had to go back to taking care of him. And she said, no, I'm filing for divorce. Now, at some point, like, she's really trying to go through the divorce, but she loves him and she takes him back. And then what happens over this point is one of Rex's sons, like from like before, like he just come in, he tried to blackmail her family. And so Bree decided to give him all her company rights and everything. Say, fine, you want that? You've got the Vandekamp name, you've got everything. That's fine, because I'm protecting my son. I will not allow you to hurt my son. And that's the point when Orson leaves her and says, you're not the woman I fell for because you didn't stand up for me. When I tried to get you to give up your company, you wouldn't do it. But for our son, your son, really? For your son, you'll do it? And you sent me to jail and told me to own up to my thing, but you're not going to make your son own up to what he did when he was 16 years old? Well, this is where our feminine power comes in. Okay? This is where it comes in. Do not underestimate a woman. We have this strength and power in our love. Our love will cause us to do the greatest things. We will forgive a lot. We will prop up the man that we feel is the most deserving of our love and attention. And sometimes we get it wrong. Bree totally got it wrong. She was propping up Rex for years and allowed him to flourish in his career. And what did he do? He stabbed her in the back. And she was propping up Orson, but as soon as Orson realized that she was flying too high, he tried to drag her down. And the same thing with Warner. Warner never even got into Harvard immediately. He was on a wait list and his daddy had to make a phone call and pay for his tuition. Elle got in on her own merit. Now, originally, she did it for the wrong reasons. This is what I really want to get into, is because originally, I got into my idea to write a book and build my business for the wrong reasons. You know why I did it? It's quite simple. I was told over and over again that I wasn't doing enough for the family, that my partner was struggling and I should help out. And I thought, you're right. I should probably make this money. And I went and I got a job first. I started trying to bring in money some way. But you know what? It didn't matter what I did. Didn't matter how much I tried to help. Didn't matter how much of a Stepford wife I became. How much I tried to assist and bring in money. He still ended up stepping out on me and devaluing me. And then when I suddenly decided, you know what? In order to pull our family out of this, to be able to allow my children to thrive, I'm going to build my own business so that we have income, because he has to pay child support for another woman's child. And no matter how much he makes, it's going to her. It's not going to our kids. So I've got to make the money now. So what did I do is I was taking all of these classes and I was going and grabbing all these free trainings and I was making sure that I could build myself up to support the family, to allow him to get out of his mess. I was willing to work so hard to get out of that mess. Just like Elle was willing to go to Harvard, she took the LSATs just to prove to Warner that she was good enough because she loved him. And Bree was willing to do everything in her power to prop up her men. And what did she get for it? But you see, when a woman finds her true power and realizes, in the name of love, what we're capable of for our children, because, you know, when a woman has a child or when she's thinking of building a family, she is going to protect that family. We are fierce in our love. We are fierce in our femininity. And when you recognize that our power comes from love. Our power we recognize when things need to die, and we recognize when things need to grow, and we are willing to put in the work for the right people, and we will absolutely stand for our children, and we will fight for our children. When you recognize that, you got to realize you can't devalue us just because we slip into that domestic role. I slipped into the domestic role because my children needed me to be in the domestic role, because they needed me home, and I loved them, and I wanted to be there with them. No woman wants to have to be away from her family. We do it by necessity. We do it because we need to survive. But here's the thing. If we figure out where our power lies, and it's like, actually, my love is what propelled me, and also anger, my hidden anger and outrage at being underestimated and at being devalued and screwed over, causes us to rise. You don't devalue us. You don't humiliate us. You don't take our love and make it worthless by cheating on us. No. Or abusing us. No. Because once we see our worth, we realize we deserve better. And we're going to either make you step up or make you step off. Yeah, I'm talking to the men now for a second there. But, like, you see it, ladies. Either they step up or they step off. Because the truth is, we can do it alone. We don't deserve to do it alone, though. We deserve to have somebody step up for us so that we can sink more into our love, because that's where our power lies. Our femininity is where our power lies. When we're taking care of ourselves, doing what lights us up, going and getting a manicure, go get a massage, go do your hair, enjoy it. Knowing that your partner has got this. They've got you. And therefore, because you are so well taken care of, you can propel your family to success. You can propel your children to success. And you can write a book. And you're like, I've got all this energy and I can do it. And I don't have to do it, but I want to do it. Because our creativity is a feminine trait. We create for the sake of creating. The money is just an extra bonus. I create because it lights me up. It brings me joy. And of course, I'm also expensive because I've recognized my worth and my value. But that's the key. All our lives, we've been told that our domesticity is something that makes us weak and vulnerable, and therefore we have to have a man. That we're not as smart as a man, that we're not as good as a man, that we're not as strong as a man, and we get devalued. But the truth is that the right man, or the right masculine entity, if you happen to be not heterosexual, if you choose to have a female partner, I'm not going to hold that against you. There's still the masculine element. But the fact is that we can be both. We have the power as humans to be both in the masculine and the feminine. And whichever one you lean towards more is your superpower. But you need to have that duality. And you need to recognize that if anybody is stifling that in you, as a problem. There's also two sides of the feminine. There's the light feminine, the one that's the good wife and mother. Then there's the dark feminine, the dark goddesses, the ones that will burn everything down, the ones that rise up, the ones that get damn angry, and they say, "How dare you? I'll show you how strong I am." The dark feminine has her power, but you need to have balance. So, recognizing that, is that in Elle's case, she morphed from her light feminine, I'm cute, I'm perky. But when she needed to be, oh, she was a badass. And she was a badass in heels. Elle Woods is the embodiment of a full feminine. And in the end, her partner, Emmett, love Emmett. He's got such pretty hair too. I love the idea of like the hair. It's just a thing. But noticing that he was impressed with her right from the start. Even when she was this bubbly, silly girl, like everybody else was underestimating her, he saw something in her. Everybody else was overlooking her, but he saw something in her. I mean, she's standing in line getting her computer, and she's in a bunny costume. And he's just watching her. He's like, there's more to this girl than just what's on the outside. Everybody sees a dumb blonde who's in a bunny costume, but this bunny is getting a computer because her idiot ex-boyfriend just condescended her and told her that she needs to go back and do the regular, easy fashion school instead of going to Harvard. It's like, come on, Elle, be serious. And she's like, what are you talking about? I took the same LSATs you did. We got into the same school. I'm obviously smart because I'm here. And you still don't see me? You didn't really value me. Well, screw you, buddy. Now I'm going to do it just because I want to do it. To prove that I can do it. Like, this isn't about you anymore. And, you know, we all need to embody that. We all need to embody our feminine qualities and recognize that, yes, our power lies in our love for the men. We can't hate men. Because if we hate men, we're actually wounding somebody's son. And we're also wounding ourselves. Because, let's be honest here. Aren't you tired? I'm freaking tired. I'm tired of doing it all myself. I would love for my ideal true man of true love to come in, and I can go and get my nails done, and I can go and get a hot stone massage, and I can go and get my hair done, and I can go shopping, and then I can get on my live streams and I can do my thing, and I can still write my books, and I can still create things. But I know that if I'm tired, he's got me. He's going to step up. He's going to take care of me. Especially when we're pregnant, when we're in our motherhood era, when we're taking care of babies. We should not have to work our butts off at a job where we're not appreciated. And then also try to take care of our babies. We're depleting ourselves. We can't do it anymore. So, this is a message to all the men out there who are intimidated by strong, independent women. First of all, you want a strong, independent woman. But you also need to be the kind of man that she can depend on so that she can actually take off her armor and be like, oh, I'm strong, I'm powerful, and I don't have to be. Because he's got me. Instead of being intimidated by it, because if you're intimidated by it, you're going to be like Warner, and you're going to be like Orson, and you're going to be like Rex, and you're going to make fun of us whenever we try to rise up in our ambitions instead of recognizing, hey, I've got a badass and I need to step it up because I could probably be more powerful. Because that's the thing, is when we love you, we will propel you into your greatness. But if you're not going to step up for us, you're not the right one, we're going to be like, why are we even with you? You're trying to drag me down. You're a liability now. Guys, it's not that women hate you and don't want to be with you. We would love to have a prince in our corner. The problem is we haven't seen very many good men. Now I know they exist now because I have a lot of awesome male friends, and I did meet my true love, and I'm just waiting for him to be ready to come get me. And when he's ready, we'll do this. But the thing you have to understand is that how I finally left someone who was condescending to me and tearing me down was because I started to step into my power without him. I realized that I was being dragged down into a situation that was just going to keep harming my kids. It wasn't about me anymore, it was about my kids. And the thing is, if you start to become a liability to a woman's children, to her way of being in the world, and you make her tired all the time, we might as well just be single. So the single mom label, not exactly the scare tactic that it used to be. Because we've realized our power. We've realized our worth. So, ladies, if the man in your life is not stepping up, he needs to be. We don't have to do it all. Your power lies in your feminine. Your power lies in your ability to recognize that you deserve the most amazing protector and provider. And your creativity needs to flow. If you don't have any creative fire, if you don't have any fire, if you know what I mean, if that's dried up, that is an indication that you are not able to trust the man you're with. And that is a whole other thing. If you don't trust the person you're with fully, if you're always worried that he's going to step out, he's going to find something better, that his eyes aren't completely on you, and that you have to continue to overcompensate just to keep his attention, there is somebody out there who is only going to see you as the first choice, and might even think that you're out of his league, but you're the first choice. And everybody else is like the consolation prize. And you want that one. You want the one who only sees you. Who isn't going to be like, if you don't clean the house and be the Stepford wife, then I don't know what I married you for, and I'm going to go and sleep with somebody else. Because then you're not safe. And I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. So I'm bringing back the 90s feminine power when we recognized our worth and that we realized we can do it all and we don't have to. And it's time for our men to rise up and our children to thrive. And that is what I am standing for. And believe me, that man's out there. If it's not the one you're with, that one was practice. Now you know how much you can love. If you're with somebody and you have sacrificed absolutely everything for them and they are still giving you nothing, you now know your capacity to love. Stop sacrificing yourself. You're a feminine goddess. You don't need to sacrifice yourself. You can actually build more just from your heart and just from your love. And the more you go out and get your nails done and your hair done and do all the things that make you feel good about yourself, that's the magic. Ever since I started just being like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to look so pretty. You know what happens when I walk out that door? Well, I'm not going to entertain that attention because, of course, I already know the one I want. But it's really nice to suddenly hear somebody go, "Whoa, mama," as I've walked past them. I don't know if he knew that I heard him, but it was nice to hear. And I already knew I looked good. I was strutting my stuff. I had this dress on. I just gotten my nails done, and I was walking out the door and heading to the bus because I don't even need to be driving right now. I don't need to have a car. First of all, it doesn't make any sense because I work from home. Why would I want to waste my money on that? That's the other thing about femininity. We don't waste our money. We don't waste our resources. We know more is coming, and we also always plan ahead. Why? Well, because again, we're mothers. Even if we don't have children, we're mothers. We know that there needs to be enough for everybody. We don't want anybody else to go hungry. We don't have that capacity to let our children starve. When we're told to harden our hearts, it hurts us. So soften. Stop trying to do it all. And watch as people either step up or fall away. As Bree found out, she was pretty good on her own. And as Elle found out, she was just as badass. And that is why we need to just enjoy ourselves and love and soften and embrace the idea of having others do things for us. Yeah, we can do it ourselves, but I don't know about you, but it would be really nice if somebody else came in and took care of the heavy lifting for me so I wouldn't have to do it. And it kind of hurts me sometimes watching that my 11-year-old son is doing it for me. It's great that he wants to step up, and he's also my little boy. And he stepped up a lot earlier than he should have had to. So he was always stepping up for me, taking care of me, even when I tell him to not to. Now he's at this age where I just want to make sure nobody takes advantage of his kind heart. Nobody takes advantage of the fact that he is incredibly useful and that he's appreciated. Because that's the other thing. If somebody steps up for you, appreciate them for it. Man or woman, appreciate them. Again, your power is in your kindness, not in your hardness. You're not a warrior. You don't need to go out and fight battles. In fact, if it was all women running the world, despite the joke that there'd be war every month because of our period, no, we wouldn't. We'd probably all just sit and huddle together and cry over something sentimental, and we would love on each other. No, we wouldn't actually go out and start wars just because we're on our period. That's bull. No, you know what would happen if it was all women running the world behind the scenes? None of us want to send people to die. We will fight for our children to live. We will fight for our children not to be harmed. We'll give up our companies for our children. We will sacrifice for our children. But we'd much rather have somebody come in and protect us so that our children are protected and we don't have to lose everything. We can still rebuild, though. That's the thing about the feminine. It's our power. We have the power of creation. It's time we remember that, don't you think? Anyway, I think I'm going to rest for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, I think I'll go to the beach and enjoy myself and enjoy the sun. Who knows, I might even do 2 days. I don't know what's coming. If an opportunity suddenly presented itself or a certain prince decided to reach out, that might change my plans. either way. I know I got a whoa mama today. So I'm feeling very, very good about myself. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. And ladies, I hope you go out and enjoy the rest of your day as well. I'll talk to you soon.